Florida Part 2. The History of Florida.
My only sunshine, you make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. The other night, dear, as you lay sleeping,
Trivial Pursuit, Florida edition. Let me know what you think, with questions, suggestions, corrections, and comments. Click to send me an email at any time.
Where did the name Florida come from? Juan Ponce de Leon was governor of Puerto Rico, where there are lots of flowers, so he probably wasn't very impressed by any floral display in the dense primeval forests of Florida. It was common practice for the Spanish to name their new discoveries after the corresponding dates in the Roman Catholic calendar, especially saints' days and church holidays. So when Ponce de Leon discovered Florida on April 2, 1513 during the Easter season, or Pascua Florida, Feast of Flowers, he named it Florida. But, what if Ponce de Leon had discovered Florida on some other day? Then, we might be called San Gorgonio, or Santurbius, or San Zachariah. But, we lucked out, and we were discovered on April 2nd, Pascua Florida. So we are now, Florida.
You are my sun, my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. The other night, dear, as you lay sleeping, I held you closely in my arms. You looked so lovely, sleeping peacefully. I watched you all through the night. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. You'll know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
Pascua Florida Day, is a state day in Florida. It is April 2nd, but when it falls on a Saturday or Sunday, the governor may declare either the preceding Friday, or following Monday, as the state day. The week of March 27th to April 2nd is Pascua Florida Week. Where was the independent Republic of West Florida and what was its capital? This shows the location of the Republic of West Florida, with its capital of St. Francisville, Louisiana, near present-day Baton Rouge on the Mississippi River. Why is the state capital at Tallahassee? After all, Tallahassee is in the far north, only 20 miles from Georgia, and certainly nowhere near the center of the state. Why not a more central location like Leesburg or Wildwood, or even Orlando? At the time of statehood, the two largest cities were St. Augustine and Pensacola. The rest of the state was a virtually unpopulated wilderness.
Lee Weisenburn represented Miami-Dade in 1967. He presented a bill in the Senate to study the feasibility of moving the state capital from Tallahassee to Orlando.
So, power brokers in North Florida authorized construction of a new Capitol building. So massive and so expensive that no one would ever propose building another elsewhere.
And so it was done. This is a plaque in the state Capitol building honoring Senator Lee Weisenburn.
What was Florida like in the olden days? That is the 1800s. This was Florida in the olden days. That is the 1800s. What nice things did General, and later President, Zachary Taylor, say about Florida? You know what? This place is hell. This place is absolute hell. I wouldn't trade you a square mile of Michigan for the entire state of Florida. Florida, then and now. Florida, then and now. And this is Florida today. Alaska is called the last frontier of the U.S. What region can be considered to be the last frontier of the lower 48 states? Which of these major cities was the last to be reached by railroad? It was Miami in 1896. What are the two, or maybe three, most important factors in the tremendous growth of Florida in the past 50 or more years? 1. Air conditioning. 2. Mosquito control. 3. Railroads, and later highways, and air travel. Who were the original inhabitants of Florida? Which of these were the original inhabitants of Florida?
The answer is F. None of the above.
Gone. The indigenous people were wiped out or absorbed into the invading Creek tribes that came to Florida from Georgia and the Carolinas in the early 1800s. In Florida they became known as the Seminoles. What three people have had both a city and a county in Florida named after them? The answers: Henry M. Flagler, Andrew Jackson, and Major Francis L. Dade, who fought in the Second Seminole War. Who has Dade County and Dade City in Pasco County named after him? What Florida counties and cities are named after U.S. presidents? Can you name all 6? These are the Florida counties and cities named after U.S. presidents. This is a map showing the location of the Florida counties named after U.S. presidents. How about Monroe? Where is Monroe County? Here is Monroe County, at the southern tip of Florida, with the county seat at Key West. What Florida counties and cities are named after U.S. senators? Can you name all 4? These are the Florida counties named after U.S. senators. This is a map showing the location of the Florida counties named after U.S. senators. What Florida counties are named after generals, who at the time were Yankees fighting for the enemy? Can you name all 3? These are the Florida counties named after generals, that fought on the American side, against the British. At the time of the Revolutionary War, Florida was a Loyalist British colony, and not part of the rebellious 13 colonies, which were to become the United States. Florida was annexed by the U.S. in 1821, and became a state in 1845. In 1776, Britain had 15 American colonies. On July 4 of that year, 13 declared independence, and began the Revolutionary War. Florida remained Loyalist. They were Washington, Marion, and Sumter. The only major battle of the American Revolution that took place in Florida was the Battle of Thomas Creek in 1777. It was an ambush of a small force of Georgia militia cavalry by a mixed force of British Army, Loyalist militia, and Indians. The Battle of Thomas Creek in 1777 is considered to be the southernmost battle of the American Revolution and took place near present-day Jacksonville. This is a marker commemorating the Battle of Thomas Creek.
What Florida counties and cities are named after generals? Can you name all 9? These are the Florida counties and cities named after generals. Lee County, 1887, General Robert E. Lee. Marion County, 1844, General Francis Marion. Revolutionary War hero. Known as the Swamp Fox. Sumter County, 1853, General Thomas Sumter. Revolutionary War hero. The City of Gainesville, 1869. General Edmund Pendleton Gaines. War of 1812 and the Seminole Wars. Lafayette County, 1853, Marquis de Lafayette. French general in the Revolutionary War. Taylor County, 1856, Zachary Taylor. Washington County, 1825, George Washington. Jackson County, 1822, and the City of Jacksonville, 1832, Andrew Jackson.
This is a map showing the location of Florida counties named after generals.
How about Leesburg? Leesburg was first settled in 1857 by Evander McIver Lee. Several of his brothers followed him to the area. One of them, Cal.
What Florida counties and cities are named after governors? Can you name all 5? These are the Florida counties named after governors. What Florida counties and cities are named after Native Americans? Can you name all 3? These are the Florida counties named after Native Americans. This is a map showing the location of Florida counties named after Native Americans. What Florida counties and cities are named after saints? Can you name all 4? These are the Florida counties named after saints. This is a map showing the location of Florida counties named after saints. What Florida places are named after Flagler and Plant? These are the Florida places named after Flagler and Plant. Where is the Suwannee River? The Suwannee River flows through the Okefenokee Swamp in Georgia, and then through north-central Florida, and then empties into the Gulf of Mexico. There is a Florida State Park, on the banks of the Suwannee River, honoring Stephen Collins Foster. The Stephen Foster Folk Culture Center State Park is located in north-central Florida, on the banks of the Suwannee River. The carillon in the park plays Stephen Foster melodies. The museum houses various exhibits, including dioramas of scenes from Stephen Foster's most popular songs. Florida's nickname is the Sunshine State. It's on every license plate. But is it really the sunniest state in the U.S.? What is really the sunniest state? What U.S. state receives the most sunshine, and is the real Sunshine State? Will the real Sunshine State please stand up? Of course, there's the Aloha State of Hawaii. It's Alaska.
You can't believe it. Are you kidding me? Show me the numbers.
Here are the numbers.
What are the price?
This table shows the percentage of time between sunrise and sunset that sun reaches the Earth's surface. This table shows the percentage of time between sunrise and sunset that sun reaches the Earth's surface. Apalachicola is the sunniest spot in Florida with an average of 128 clear sunny days per year, and Miami has 74. For comparison, Yuma, Arizona has 242. This is a map of the U.S. showing the average amount of solar energy, in terms of kilowatt-hours, per square meter of surface area, per day. This is a map of the U.S. showing the average amount of solar energy, in terms of kilowatt-hours, per square meter of surface area, per day. So, maybe the Florida license plates should bear this more appropriate appellation.
You are my sun, my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. The other night, dear, as you lay sleeping, I held you closely.
What is the highest in Florida, that is lower than the highest, of all of the other states, and where is it? Florida's mini Mount Everest is in northern Walton County, in the Florida Panhandle, aka South Alabama. It is Burton Hill, in Lakewood Park, 345 feet above sea level. Florida's highest point is at a lower elevation than 16 other states' lowest points. In contrast, Mount Dora, in nearby Lake County, has an elevation of only 184 feet, so maybe is not even a hill. Sugarloaf Mountain in Clearmont is the tallest mountain in peninsular Florida, at 312 feet.
These are the elevations in meters in Florida.
These are the elevations in meters in Central Florida. The village is at 75 feet or 25 meters.
Florida was purchased from Spain for $5 million. That was a bargain. Was there any land purchase deal better than that? It was Manhattan at only $47 per square mile. This was in 1626, when the Dutch purchased Manhattan for 60 guilders, $24 then, and equivalent to $1,084 now. Florida land was kinda pricey, at $1,409 per square mile. And, of course, we got Texas, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, and Hawaii, all for free. Where is the Big Bend region of Florida? It's the region where the Florida Panhandle joins into the Florida Peninsula. It's the region that's around Tallahassee. Miami has been the subject of several movies and TV series. Can you name some of them? Moon over Miami in 1941. Miami Vice, 1984 to 1990, and CSI Miami, from 2002 to 2012. The Golden Girls from 1985 to 1992. To give full credit, a better name for this course might be, the two Henrys, a John, a Walt, a Harold, and a Julia, and the history of Florida. Can you identify these people that are so important to this state? Julia DeForest Tuttle, 1849 to 1898, was an American businesswoman, who was the original owner of the land, upon which Miami was built, and was largely responsible for convincing Flagler to extend his railroad down to Miami. For these reasons, Julia Tuttle is called the Mother of Miami. She is the only woman to found a major American city. John Gorey, 1803 to 1855, was a physician, scientist, inventor, and humanitarian. In 1833, he moved to Apalachicola, a port city on the Gulf Coast, where he was a resident physician at 2 hospitals. In an effort to treat patients, he developed, and received a patent in 1851, for mechanical refrigeration, which led to the modern development of air conditioning. What is the driving distance between Pensacola and Key West? The driving distance between Pensacola and Key West is 832 miles.
It's a long way to Pensacola. It's a long, long, long way. It's a long way from down in Key. 832 miles. That will take 2 days to go. Oh, it's a long, long way to Pensacola. A long way, I know. First it's to Miami, and then to Orlando, and then it's echoey, and to the villages we in. It's Ocala, Gainesville, and Lake City, and then on to I-10 for Tallahassee. Finally, it's yes, it's a long way to Pensacola. It's a long, long, long way. It's a long way from down in Key West. You won't get there in a day.
Oi, that was a long drive. I'm so tired. But it was worth the drive to get to the beautiful white sand beaches at Pensacola Beach.
It was a long way to Pensacola, a long, long way to go. 832 miles, and the sands are white as snow. It's a long way to Pensacola. It's a long, long, long way. It's a long way from down in Key West. You won't get there in a day. 832 miles. That will take 2 days to go. Oh, it's a long, long way to Pensacola. A long way. First it's to Miami, and then to Orlando, and then it's Ocoee, and to the villages we go. Then it's Socala, Gainesville, and Lake City, and then on to I-10 for Tallahassee. Finally, it's Pensacola. That's where we want to be.
Why is there a funny little jog in the border between Florida and Georgia near Jacksonville?
The Treaty of San Lorenzo between the U.S. and Spain called for a border line to be surveyed out from the 31st parallel on the Mississippi, east to the Chattahoochee River, down the Chattahoochee to its junction with the Flint River, then east to the source of the St. Mary's River, then down the center of the St. Mary's River to the Atlantic Ocean.
Where is the safest place in Florida from hurricanes?
This shows the total number of hurricane strikes in Florida in the 110 years between 1900 and 2010.
This map shows the design wind speed in Florida. This shows the location of the hurricane strikes in the U.S. from 1900 to 2010. What cities are the oldest, and the newest, and what county is the oldest, in the United States? Researchers at the University of West Florida say they've proved Spanish explorer, Tristan de Luna, established his Spanish colony of Pensacola in August of 1559. That's 6 years before St. Augustine, which claims it's the oldest because it's been continuously occupied. The newest place in terms of the age of the housing units is the Villages, with 100% of all housing units built later than 1960. Sumter County has the oldest median age, 66.6 years, of any U.S. county. Where was air conditioning used for the first time? In 1842, Florida physician John Gorey used compressor technology to create ice, which he used to cool air for his patients in his hospital in Apalachicola, Florida. In 1851, Gorey was granted the first U.S. patent for mechanical refrigeration. This is the John Gorey Monument in Apalachicola, with the inscription, "Inventor of the Ice Machine and Refrigeration." How many time zones are there in Florida? There are 2 time zones in Florida, Eastern and Central. The boundary runs along the Apalachicola River, except for an anomaly near Port St. Joe on the Gulf of Mexico. What body of water forms the western border of Florida? It's the Perdido River. Perdido is Spanish for lost. What Florida counties are named after fruits or vegetables? The answers: citrus and orange. What Florida counties are named after animals, birds, or fish? The answer: manatee. What U.S. coast-to-coast highways are in Florida? Can you name 4 of them? The answers: I-4, I-75, US 41, also known as the Tamiami Trail, and I-10. What U.S. coast-to-coast highway is in Florida? Well, sort of. It's I-75. This highway goes from the East Coast, Atlantic Ocean, near Miami, to the West Coast, near Tampa, to the North Coast, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan.
What 5 major Disney theme parks are in Orange County?
Disney Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Disney Hollywood Studios, Disney Animal Kingdom, and Disneyland. This is a map of the counties of Florida.
What is the southernmost Florida county?
The southernmost Florida county is Monroe County, at the southern tip of Florida, with the county seat at Key West.
What is the westernmost Florida county?
The westernmost Florida county is Escambia County, with the county seat at Pensacola. This was Florida in the olden days. That is the 1800s.
What nice thing did old General and then President Zach Taylor say about Florida back then?
You know what? This place is hell. This place is absolute hell. I wouldn't trade you a square mile of Michigan for the entire state of Florida.
What Florida county was originally, back in 1824, named after an insect, and maybe we're right in it now?
It was Mosquito County. What industry made Key West the largest and richest city in Florida, and the wealthiest town per capita in the U.S. in 1860? Wrecking. A number of the inhabitants worked salvaging shipwrecks from nearby Florida reefs, and the town was noted for the unusually high concentration of fine furniture and chandeliers that the locals used in their own homes after salvaging them from wrecks. Key West grew prosperous on shipwrecking. A legend says that shipwreckers removed navigational markers from shallow areas to strand unsuspecting captains ashore. Improved navigation led to fewer shipwrecks, and Key West went into a decline in the late 19th century. The Wreckers' Song, circa 1830.
Come, all you salty salvagers, come listen to my song. A few remarks I'd like to make, I'll not detain you long. Here's to our schooner stout and good, as ever yet was made of wood. Amongst the reefs where the breakers roar.
What is the largest university in Florida?
The largest university in Florida by enrollment is the University of Central Florida in Orlando with a whopping 68,000 students. The University of Florida is in third place with 52,000 students. In fact, the University of Central Florida is the second largest university in the entire country. Florida International University is in fourth place, and the University of Florida is in fifth place nationwide. These are single individual campuses. How many counties are there in Florida?
28, 26, 39, 52, or 67.
There are 67 counties in Florida.
Florida has a lot of counties at 67. But what state has the most counties, and is there any state with no counties?
Texas has the most counties at a whopping 254.
Louisiana has parishes which function like counties.
And Alaska has no counties. But there are boroughs that are somewhat like counties.
What is the most populous county in Florida?
The most populous county in Florida is Miami-Dade County with 2.8 million people.
These are the most populous counties in Florida.
How many named lakes are in Lake County?
How many named lakes are in Lake County? A. 40, B. 140, C. 340, D. 540, or E. 1400. The answer is E. 1400.
What city is furthest west? Pittsburgh, Detroit, Atlanta, Nashville, or Pensacola?
It is Pensacola.
What city is furthest south? Key West, Brownsville, San Diego, or Honolulu?
No. It's not Key West. It is actually Honolulu.
We know about the Panama Canal that goes from coast to coast. What is the Florida Canal?
The Cross-Florida Barge Canal would save 3 days of travel for ships if they didn't have to go all the way around the Florida Peninsula, and could instead cut right through the middle of the state.
The planned route of the canal followed the St. Johns River from the Atlantic coast to Palatka, the valley of the Ocklawaha River to the coastal divide, and the Withlacoochee River to the Gulf of Mexico.
About 28% of the 107-mile, 172 kilometers project was built.
This is a completed section of the Cross-Florida Barge Canal near Palatka.
Today, the Marjorie Harris Carr Cross-Florida Greenway provides hiking and biking trails on the remnants of the Cross-Florida Barge Canal.
What is the Cross-Florida Railroad?
The Cross-Florida Railroad from Fernandina on the Atlantic was started August 1856 and reached Cedar Key on the Gulf in March 1861.
The Cross-Florida Railroad ran through Gainesville and was 155 miles long from coast to coast. Trade between ports like New Orleans and those in the northeast U.S. no longer had to go around the Florida Keys. This is the Lady Lake Historical Museum.
This shows the location of the Lady Lake Historical Museum on Old Dixie Highway, just 1 block west of US 441.
The Old Dixie Highway in Lady Lake was part of a highway that ran from Canada all of the way down to Miami, a predecessor of the modern I-75.
The Dixie Highway was the brainchild of Carl Graham Fisher, the same entrepreneur who helped develop Miami Beach in the early 1910s. Fisher believed Northerners would pay top dollar for lots in South Florida, but he recognized the need for a reliable highway to funnel his customers southward. This is a map of the Dixie Highway in 1919. This is another map of the Dixie Highway in 1919. This is a more detailed map of the Dixie Highway in Florida in 1919.
This is the web page of the Lady Lake Historical Society.
During the period of 1886 to 1887, an effort was made to beautify the town, and trees were planted along the sides of the streets. These trees grew into the massive oak trees that characterize the streets of Lady Lake. The nationally known cathedral arch formed by the massive oak trees, overhung with. This is the original town hall of Lady Lake. It is now the Chamber of Commerce. This is the railroad exhibit in the Museum of the Lady Lake Historical Society.
This is a fruit box label on exhibit at the museum. Recommended video, Florida, an epic adventure in geologic time, 6 minutes, 44 seconds.
Recommended video, Geology of Florida, 2 minutes.
Recommended video, Florida's Aquifer The Treasure Below, 5 minutes, 37 seconds.
Recommended video, The Man Who Built Miami Beach, 14 minutes, 35 seconds.
Let me know what you think. With questions, suggestions, corrections, and comments. Click to send me an email at any time.